All right, so friends, we've been talking about division. We talked about remainders. We talked about using our trick if it's ending in our zeros. Our next step is I'm going to show you two ways of division with using repeated subtraction. And then it's also partial quotient. So we're going to be talking about both of those today. And I'm going to show you with the same problem. So we have 72 divided by 6. So really division is just subtracting out groups. So if we have 72, we have to keep seeing how many times we can subtract out 6. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make groups of 10, and we're going to go ahead and subtract. So we can subtract with numbers and we can subtract with our counters. So I'm going to go ahead and make 72. I'm going to do groups of 10 because that's going to be easiest for me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and we can see why we wouldn't always want to draw it out, but I'm going to draw it out so you can see. 60, 70, 2. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 72. All right, so we're going to subtract out how many groups of 6, because division is just repeated subtraction. So we're going to subtract 6. So we have 2, we can't take away 6. So this changes to a 6, changes to a 12, and now we have 66. And all this means is now I'm going to circle a group of 6. There's one group of 6. So this is 1, right? Okay, now I'm going to subtract 6 again. So now 6 minus 6 is 0. So this is the second time that we subtracted 6. So let's go ahead and circle another group of 6. Subtract 6 again. Can't. So we have to borrow. There's 54. So do another group of 6. Okay, we got to keep going. There's another group. Subtract 6. We've got 4. 14 minus 6 is 8. 48. And over here, I'm going to do another group of 6. So far, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 6. So you can see how it looks both ways. We have to keep subtracting because we can keep taking away some 6s. Subtract 6 is, so another group of 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. 42. That's another group. Okay, another group. Got to keep going because there's still more 6s. 3, 12. So that's 6. 36. That's another group of 6. There's 6 right there. Got to keep going till we can't take any more 6s out. 6 minus 6 is 0. There's another one, so let's circle another group of 6. Still got to keep going. Subtract 6. 30 minus 6 is borrow, is 4, is 24. It's another group of 6. So there's 6. Got to keep going. Still more 6s. Okay, that's a 1, a 14, that's an 8. 18, so that was another group of 6 that we could take out. Keep on going, friends. So there's another group of 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. We're getting closer. And so we've got to, let's make sure we're on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I got to do my 10th group. Okay. Minus 6, that's the double, so it's 6, because I know that's another group of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 6. And one more group of 6, whoops, that's a 0, that's our last group of 6. So, how many groups of 6 can we make into 72? We've got repeated repeated subtraction, and we have a picture. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So equals 12, and let's make sure that our picture matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. So division is really just repeated subtraction. How many times can we make groups of 6 when we have 72? So we can do it with the picture and we can do it with the subtraction. Now what do you notice? When we start using our big numbers, does that take a long time? It does. So we are going to use a different strategy that uses both some of the things that we've learned before. So we're still going to take our 72 and we're going to write it this way, divided by 6. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line right down here. And that's going to help us keep track of what we are subtracting. All right, so in my head, I'm going to be thinking of multiplication. So I know that this is 70, right? So what times 6 is going to can give me close to 70? Well, right away, I'm thinking, well, I know 10 times 6 is what? 10 times 6 is 60, isn't it? Right? So we've got 10 groups of 6. We've got 10 groups of 6. So that means we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. We did all of that in one step because we just said 6 groups of 10. So then our next step is we have to subtract to see how much we have left over. So 2 minus 0 is 2. 7 minus 6 is 1. So now we have 12. So now we say to ourselves the same thing. What times 6 gives me closest to 12? Well, what times 6 gives me closest to 12? That would be 2, right? 2 times 6 is 12. So I'm going to put my 12 here and subtract it, and I have 0. Now you're like, well, how do I get the answer? This part right here, we add. These two here that we add because we took 10 groups and then we took 2 groups. So all together, how many groups did we take? 12. We took 12 groups, and it's the same answer as we got on all these different ways, but it did not take us as long to draw our dots or do our repeated subtraction. We did repeated subtraction in groups. So let's go ahead and let's try another one. Now, don't worry that if that was confusing, we are going to practice more with this one. Okay, so now we are going to do, we're going to do 125 divided by 5. And the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to draw your line down. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to think of is what can I multiply by 5 to get me close to 100? Now this is where I'm going to do some thinking because I know 5 times 2 is 10. But then that means, knowing what I've learned, if I do 5 times 20, that's going to be 100. And that's going to get me closer here. So I'm going to do 5 times 20. So that gives me 100, right? So then I'm going to subtract. So 5 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 0 is, not 0, is 2. Where's my eraser? I got too excited. And 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, so now I have 25. So now I have to think, what times 5 gives me 25? And if you need, you can use your multiplication chart for this one too. but I know that 5 times 5 is 25. And I'm going to put my equal sign here. Subtract, it's 0. Do I need to subtract anymore? Nope. I just need to add. How many groups did I take out? The first time, I took out 20 groups. The second time, I took out 5 groups of 5. So when we have to add those, 20 plus 5 is 25 groups. So that means 125 divided by 5 gives me 25 groups. I want to try one more with you. One more. Let's do a short one. Okay, let's do 224 divided by 7. Draw my line. And if we need to go longer in our line, we can. Okay, so then I have to think, what times 7 is going to give me close to 224? Well, if I do 100, that's going to give me 700, and I don't want that. So let's try 10. We can try 20. We can try 30. We kind of think of, we know that we have 7 times 1 is 1. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm looking here. This is 22. Well, here is too big. But 21 is close to 22. But this is in the hundreds. So what I'm going to do is add my 0 here. So I'm going to multiply that by 30. So 7 times 30 is 210. And then subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. And then now we have 14. So now we see, oh, over here, I know that 7 times 2 is 14. So I can put 7 times 2. And that's 14. And we subtract. And it's 0. So we've just did repeated subtraction, but we did it in groups. And these are the 2 groups that we have. And then our answer is 32 because we add these. We will be practicing this a lot more. Make sure you are practicing those multiplication facts.